Tass, you have the challenge here of the Eastern Conference. You're picking the 7 reserves. We're going with the coaches type ballot, the 2 guards, 3 forwards, 2 wild cards. How much did you struggle with this exercise last night when you were putting together your team?
Oh, it got very difficult at the end, especially at the end. We'll get there. But at the beginning, I think it is a little bit easier. Start with the 2 guard spots. I started with Donovan Mitchell over Jalen Brunson. How dare I? But Donovan Mitchell has been fantastic. He could have been starting over Damian Lillard, in all honesty. I picked him over Brunson. We'll get to Maxey a little bit later when it comes to the wild cards. But he's been carrying the Cavs since the injuries began. And look at these numbers. He's become better and more efficient in more of a star role with Darius Garland out and Evan Mobley out. But Mitchell has been averaging 28 and 8 assists. And better shooting numbers, 59% true shooting percentage since those injuries happened. And he's on the 7th highest usage rate in the NBA. So he's become a superstar. Anyways, he deserves to be there. He's there. Jalen Brunson will take the other guard spot. The guy is an absolute machine. I just love watching him play. He barrels into guys to create space every single game. So he's just fun. He may not be the most athletic, super duper jump over you, but the 4 seed is theirs in New York. He's taking it, and he's the best player on that team. So he gets there. Moving over to the forward spots. My first forward I picked was Bam Adebayo because he's been phenomenal. He's one of the league's best defenders. And then the numbers. 21, 10, and 4.4 assists, all career highs, shooting 50% from the floor. He got over there easily more than Jimmy Butler, who's missed 33% of the Heat's games. But he was my best forward in the Eastern Conference, which was a little surprising to me. Moving on, Jaylen Brown is there.
Okay.
He's the second best player on the best team in the conference, easily to me. I know Porzingis is fantastic. I know Derek White's been fantastic. I know Drew Holiday's been fantastic on the Celtics, but he's efficient and he defends extremely well. So moving on to the third final spot on the forwards, this was a little tough. Randall or Scotty Barnes or Paolo Banchero. It all came down to, but Randall was the easy decision at the end. It wasn't easy. I take it back, but I like the barreling bros with him and Jalen Brunson. They just barrel into all of everybody, and he's got incredible scoring and rebounding and efficiency that's better than Scotty Barnes. It's better than Paolo Banchero, and he's got more wins. So it wasn't easy, but that's where it came down to. Wild cards, 2 more spots. We got 2 more spots here. Maxey clearly should be there with the Philadelphia 76ers. He deserves to be there. He could have been above Brunson or Mitchell if you really wanted, but he's the second best player on the 3rd seed. He scores a ton, assists, efficient, plays the most minutes in the freaking league. Okay, now the last one.
Okay.
The wild card spot. For me at the beginning, it was Barnes, Banchero, or Trae. Trae Young has had some incredible numbers, but the first decipher is wins. Trae needed to say goodbye because he also, it comes down to the defender also kicked off Trae on this position. In this scenario here, because Barnes is damn good at that, and Banchero is damn good at that too. Actually, the field goal percentage of guys he guards are pretty low. The 3-point percentage on shots he defends are among the best. So it came to Barnes or Banchero, Barnes or Banchero, Barnes or Banchero. It wasn't easy. So I turned, and Barnes has more rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. Although Banchero scores a lot, Barnes' numbers through all those categories, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, a little surprising, better than Banchero. He's way more efficient than Banchero, 57.5% to 53.6% in true shooting percentage. But do wins matter? That is the question.
16-win
You just
team.
threw Trae Young out for wins.
Yeah, I'm
they
not
got more than the Raps.
I'm not done. I threw out Trae because he doesn't defend the way Scotty Barnes does. He's a behemoth on that end, blocking shots, stealing shots. So it really did come down to wins. The Raptors are 12 games under 500. Is it Siakam's fault? Who could I blame and put Scotty Barnes on the team? I am taking Banchero. It was freaking tough because Scotty Barnes is damn good. But yeah, being 12 games under 500, I know we tend to put guys on starting lineups, on all-star lineups, even if they have losing teams these days. But I guess I deciphered when I saw Barnes on there. Lots of losses. Trae on there, lots of losses.
Right.
So I went with Banchero over him. There's lots of other snubs that we'll get to that should probably just be at All-Star Weekend. But anyway.
Okay, so Paolo is your final wild card selection there.
Yep.
Over, like you said, Barnes, Trae Young, maybe some of those other Celtics guys. So you removed Jimmy Butler from consideration just in terms of only playing like 65% of his team's games.
He's missed a third of his games.
Yeah.
That's not good. And of course,
it's a classic Jimmy thing.
Yeah, it's getting it's getting wilder and wilder. It's becoming more straining, I think, on his team. 33% is a lot. I know they're just numbers. Like, he is a great player, but I put Bam on there because they're nearly a top 10 defense, and it's all Bam. He's been so good. I went with numbers as well when I looked at Kristaps Porzingis. Oh, he's missed a quarter of the games. That's a lot of games. It is a fair amount of games. So they'll make the second team. We're putting a second team in there. Just get the snubs there. The Eastern snubs play the Eastern All-Stars. The Western snubs play the Western All-Stars. Okay. Then the winners meet at the end because we want a great Sunday. I didn't even realize that Joe Dumars, VP of the NBA, he talked to the players before the season and said, we need a better Sunday. We need a better All-Star weekend. Tyrese Halliburton is going to be there. He said the All-Star game sucked last year, his first one. But Dumars literally said, we talked to players about putting on a great show on the last night, on Sunday night, actually getting out there and competing. That's what they want. Snubs versus All-Stars would be good. Okay. I don't know if that's going to work here.
It's kind of what they do for Rising Stars now. They got a tournament.
Yeah.
I love Joe Dumars, the disappointed dad of the NBA. He just needs to lecture the players every now and then so that we try a little bit harder.
And that's why they've went to 4 quarters that are basically just 12 minutes now. They've gone away from the Elam ending. Yeah. It's just a game again.
Mm-hmm.
So
just play hard.
Yeah,
at least for a decent amount of it.
Exactly.
Okay, so TASS's Eastern Conference reserves. The guards were Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson. The forwards, Bam Adebayo, Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle gets that last spot. Then you had Tyrese Maxey as a no-brainer wild card. And that last one, you went back and forth. But in the end, Paolo Banchero is on TASS's teams. How did that stack up to your East reserves? I assume a lot of similar names, but maybe a difference.
Yeah. 6 of 7, I would say, are the same. My locks, definitely Brunson and Mitchell in the backcourt. My frontcourt guys, Bam, Jaylen Brown, and Julius Randle. And then I also thought Tyrese Maxey is a lock as a wild card. So it came down at the end for me to Paolo Banchero, just like Tass. Porzingis is in the mix for me because I think he might actually be the Celtics' second best player, but he's missed significant time, and he rolled his ankle again last night, so not great. But I'm going with Trae Young. I'm putting him in. The numbers are kind of undeniable to me. 27 points a game and 11 assists. Shooting 36% from 3. He's given his best effort defensively. I agree it hasn't translated to defensive performance for the Hawks or for enough wins for the Hawks. But man, 27 points and 11 assists.
Yeah.
That's hard to look past. Meanwhile, Paolo Banchero, kind of in the same situation. He's got to do everything for the Magic. He's at 23 a game, 5 assists. He's awesome. I really wanted to make a case for Paolo, but when I threw it in StatHead, it just didn't hold up.
Yeah, and I feel like if this was done a month ago, it's a no-brainer Paolo's in, but the Magic did start to slide a little bit. I think some of that had to do with Franz Wagner's injury. Yeah, Paolo's efficiency started to dip more and more and more, so I can see why you struggle to either have him on or off. So you're going with Trae Young. You get into this whole dilemma here, right? Especially when it comes to the last couple spots. At what point is it better to have a complementary player, like a Derek White, let's say, or a Porzingis, like a complementary player on a really good team, or the leading man, for the lack of a better term, on a sort of bad team, be it a Trae Young, be it a Scotty Barnes, and like those type of guys. That's where you go, you go back and forth. And then there's the whole Jimmy Butler thing, which, I mean, if you're just saying who's the best player in the East, Jimmy Butler's going to be on a lot of people's list. But like last year, right? Similar situation where he missed a decent amount of time and was left off the All-Star team, if I remember correctly. So he's always he's just his own thing.
He's an easy elimination for me because he sucks in All-Star games. He does not care at all to be at an All-Star game. He would rather go on vacation.
Yeah, and then the only other name I think maybe, what about this guy that was sort of, I guess, slipped in there as a joke, but Pascal Siakam, the numbers are still good. He can't hit a 3 to save his life, but obviously now on Indiana, 22, 6, and 5. I mean, those are good numbers. This is a really talented player. So he'd be the final guy, I think, that would be in the running.
Jared Allen, also a fantastic season.
Okay.
We will have discussions about him in the Defensive Player of the Year contest. He has been phenomenal. I think we got to all the snubs, though.
Okay, there you go.